air-assisted, naturally aspirated V12 engine has reached its twilight. For decades, it was the beating heart of the supercar world. Now, it's cooling into history. For buyers navigating this final era, it sets up a harsh conflict. Do you preserve these last remaining examples as untouched historical artifacts, or do you treat them as an absolute blank canvas for personalization? The Lamborghini Aventador SVJ stands as the mechanical and aerodynamic apex of this dying breed. It is the loudest, most aggressive expression of the V12 before electrification took hold. There are alternative finales for traditionalists out there. Ferrari offers the front-engine 12-cylindry for those who prioritize grand touring comfort over a mid-engine exotic. But the Aventador SVJ demands a different kind of commitment. Because these cars are the last of their kind, buying one forces your hand. You have to decide if your goal is to lock away a pristine piece of automotive history, or if you want to unleash a highly personalized spectacle onto the streets. This splits the market into two distinct camps. The factory purist views the SVJ strictly as an investment vehicle, protecting every original bolt and factory-calibrated setting. The aftermarket maximizer sees the factory spec as merely a starting point, chasing absolute sensory aggression with custom wide-bodies and straight-piped exhausts. Which path you choose dictates your entire ownership experience. It is the difference between securing an appreciating historical asset and funding a highly personal, potentially depreciating thrill ride. To understand what the aftermarket actually alters, we first have to look at the factory engineering baseline. Out of the box, the SVJ delivers 770 horsepower from an engine that revs to 8,500 RPM. Those outputs secured a lap time of 6 minutes and 44 seconds at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. That speed relies on a highly complex, factory-calibrated system known as ALA 2.0, Lamborghini's patented active aerodynamics. This system actively routes and channels airflow straight from the front splitter through the chassis to the rear wing, generating a 40% improvement in total downforce compared to the previous SV. Modifying even a single aerodynamic element risks collapsing the entire dynamic balance Lamborghini spent millions perfecting. For those intent on maintaining that synergy, the ultimate preservationist path is the SVJ63. Featuring a full carbon fiber body and limited to a strict production run of exactly 63 units worldwide, it represents the absolute peak of factory exclusivity. But exclusivity carries a heavy burden. To protect its return on investment, the SVJ63 often becomes a garage queen. Every mile driven chips away at its collector value, severely limiting your actual enjoyment of the machine. This is where the SVJ Roadster presents a compelling alternative. It prioritizes a visceral, sensory experience without ever leaving the approved factory ecosystem. The mechanics of the carbon fiber removable roof do require a compromise. Apply a one-of-one bespoke carbon widebody kit to the mix, and the transformation is complete. The SVJ goes from a precision-tuned track tool to a brute force street cruiser, optimized entirely for low-speed visual impact. Taking this route means making a conscious trade. You have to be comfortable sacrificing Nürburgring-level engineering synergy in exchange for a completely unique aesthetic identity. Deciding how to navigate this market requires you to define exactly what you want from this dying breed. It comes down to a choice between investment, track perfection, or sensory overload. If capital preservation is your primary driver, seek out an SVJ63 or a delivery mileage factory coupe. Treat it as a pristine historical artifact and store it properly. If you want pure driving emotion and the unfiltered sound of the V12, without ruining the carefully engineered suspension geometry, the factory SVG Roadster is your optimal choice. And if you require absolute street presence above all else, go the Novatec or Creative Bespoke route. Just know that you are accepting the loss of engineering synergy and long-term collector ROI to get it. Finally, if this level of mid-engine aggression feels too uncompromising, you can pivot away from the Aventador platform entirely and look toward the front-engine comfort of the Ferrari 12-cylindry. In the twilight of the V12, there is no wrong car to buy. There is only a misalignment of your philosophy and your actual use case. Define your priorities clearly, and the market will reward your decision.